Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and this is puzzle 49 in the Hamilton Sudoku series. Two more to go after this one. 51 chosen for a very specific number, being the number of Federalist Papers that Alexander Hamilton wrote, and also the number of times I saw Hamilton in Melbourne. Saw it more than that overall, but that's the number of times I saw it in Melbourne. So we've had quite a few hurricane-themed puzzles, or a hurricane came. There was one called Hurricane. Um, we've had a few, and I understand why. And this one it seems to be more based on the rotation of the stage. So there's a beautiful lighting effect in the show that has to be seen to be believed. You kind of get it on Disney Plus, but when you see it live, it is just awe-inspiring. And I've kind of picked the colors of the arrows for this one to be based on that. And I know they're not the best for pencil marking, but theme over substance sometimes is going to carry with me, even though normally I don't do that. But for this one, I had to carry it. It is jarring to me that the arrows are pointing in the wrong direction. The stage actually rotates the other way, and all of the hurricane theme in the show is actually counterclockwise. All of it. Every time. And this is going clockwise. Oh well. So if you're not interested in the show or anything, enjoy the puzzles. The puzzles, I'm assuming, so far, all 48 that I've done have been great. So let's see how the last three go. So yeah, we're getting close to the end, and wow, it's interesting. 3 more days. So what else have I got to go on? Of course, these have all been. This is set by Alexander Hamilton. I do not know who set this puzzle. They've all been set anonymously. And I keep saying it. I'm so grateful to everyone who's been involved in this and everyone who's built the communities, both around Hamilton, the friends I've made is around Hamilton, and the friends I've made in the Sudoku community who've carried me through this rough time in my life that I'm coming out of, but it's still been a bit weird. Thank you, everyone. And let's have a look at the puzzle. In the Eye of a Hurricane by Alexander Hamilton. In the Eye, yeah. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Digits placed on an arrow must sum to the digit placed in that arrow circle. So the sum of these 3 digits will get placed there. The sum of these 3 digits will get placed there. Cells separated by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio. So one must be double the other. And cells separated by a white dot must be consecutive. Not all dots are necessarily given. I know nothing about the difficulty of this one. I was told that at the end, some of the puzzles were much harder than others, but I have not looked at which ones were rated at which difficulty or anything. So I don't know how hard this one is. We'll find out together. Restarting the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So there's a few things we can tell about these arrows. Because all of them have 3 cells on them that see each other. So, and because of that, we know that the minimum you can put on a 3-cell arrow is 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3 sums to 6. So all of these arrow circles must be 6, 7, 8, or 9. That's just absolutely forced. We also know that on an arrow, you can never put a digit higher than a 6. Because if you were to put a 7 on one of these arrows, then you would end up with 7, and the other 2 cells would have to sum to no more than 2, and you'd end up with 7, 1, 1. So you can never put a 6, anything higher than a 6 on one of these arrows. So that could be important. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is black dots. And the way I've started to think about black dots is on black dots, you must have a low digit and you must have an even digit. And the reason for that is the doubling. 1 doubles to 2, both low, but one is low, one is even. 2 doubles to 4, 3 doubles to 6, 4 doubles to 8. If you continue that 5 doubles to 10, you leave the range of Sudoku digits. So you can never have a high odd digit. Now this can also come into play if you're playing with high, low, or parity in a puzzle, because you must have a low digit on a black dot and you must have an even digit on a black dot. You may have 2 low digits and you may have 2 even digits, but you must have a low and an even. So, but what that means is any high odd digit cannot be on a black dot. So 7 and 9 cannot be on a black dot. And the only thing that goes with 8 is 4, and the only, didn't want to make that a full pencil mark, is 4, and the only thing that goes with 6 is 3. So these are 3 and 4. Whichever to make these work. Now they could both be the same, I don't know. Now if this is a 6, this is a 1, 2, 3. Now there's probably something here with math. This is probably a math puzzle because the minimum these cells could sum to is 15. And then if we add 1 here, which we can't because this is 1. So the minimum these can sum to is 17. Because the minimum I can put it, right, this is it. This is absolutely it. If the minimum these could sum to is 15, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, 15. The minimum this could be is 2. So the minimum that all of these could be, all of those cells there, is 17. So the minimum that those can sum to is 17. But the only way to do 17 is 8 and 9. So that's an 8 and that's a 9 and that's a 4. Now we know this is a 2 and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there's no 2 in here. In fact, these have to, well, there has to be a 1 on an 8 arrow. So this is, we actually know what this is. 1, 2, and the other digit has to get us to 8. So we need another 5. So this is 1, 5. We take 1, 5 off here, and this is a 2, 3, 4, 9 arrow. Now this has to be consecutive with 1 or 5, so it's not the 3, because this is odd, therefore this has to be even, and that gives us that bit. Now I can probably continue that in other spots of the grid. This is not a 9, this is not an 8. And I'm tempted to do it here because I've got the same thing. This is a 1. The minimum I can put in here is 15. The minimum this can be is 2, which is 17. So these cells have a minimum of 17, but the maximum these can be is 17 if I make this 9 and 8. This makes this a 4. This has to be a 2. These now have to sum to 6, and they can't be 2, 4, so they're 1, 5. And these are now 2, 3, 4. Now this is in a 1 to 2 ratio. I can't put a 5 on a ratio dot. So this is 1, which makes this 2, which makes this 5. The 2 makes this 4, which makes this 5 to be consecutive. There's no 4 in those. There's no 2 in those. This is the 1. This is so cool. So far, it's been ridiculously fast, but now this can't be 6 or 7, because if this is 6, this would have to be 1, 2, 3, and it can't be. And if it's 7, it's 1, 2, 4, because I could only increase one digit by 1, and I couldn't increase the 1 or the 2, because then I break it. 7 can only be 1, 2, 4, and I can't do 1, 2, 4. So this is an 8, and I can't put a 2 on it. I must have a 1, so it's 1, 3, and then I need another 4. The minimum digits I can put here are 1, 3, 4, which sum to 8. So these are 1, 3, and 4. So 8 is next to either 7 or 9, and I can't use the 9. So this is the 7, so this is not a 7. This can't be a 1, 2, or 3, because if this is 1, 2, 3, I can't put 1 or 3 in those cells. So this is a 9. Now this can't be 2, 3, 4, because then this would have to be 3, 4. So there is a 1 on this arrow, but it's not there. This is the 1. These now sum to 8. Now, I could use 2, 6. I can't use 1, 7. I could use 2, 6. I can't use 3, 5. So these are 2 and 6. This is not a 3, by the way, because of that 3. See that 3 right in the middle of the grid? I didn't. This is not an 8. I'm probably able to do the same trick here. This is not a 9. But these sum to a minimum of 16. Well, that can't be a 6 then. I can't put a 6 in either of these. If this is 7, this is 9. If this is 8, hang on. Minimum 16. I have to have a 9, don't I? If this is 7 and this is 8, that's only 15. But 15, I've got a minimum of 15 here and a minimum of 1 here. This can't be a 7. This is a 9. And this is a 7 or an 8. This can't, there is a 1 on this, because I can't do 2, 3, 4. And I know 1 is down here somewhere. This can't be the 1, because this would be a 2, and that doesn't work. Or I could just use the given 1. This is not the 1, this is the 1. So these sum to 8. So if these sum to 8, well, this can't be 7, because I don't have the 2 available. I can't use 1, 2, 4. So this is the 8. I need an 8 without 2. So if I don't use a 1 on an 8 arrow, I've got 2, 3, 4, and I need a 9 here, which doesn't work. So there is a 1. I don't have a 2. The only minimum digits I've got are 1, 3, and 4. 1, 3, and 4 happen to sum to 9, so that works. These now need to sum to 8 without using 1, 3, or 4. So 2, I must use a 2, otherwise I'm making 5, 6, and it's not 8, it's 11. So I must have a 2. They must sum to 8, so it's 2 and 6. Giving me a 2, 6 pair in the column. There's no 3 here. I've got a 1, 4 in the column as well. Okay. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right. Well, there's no 6 here. I feel like the arrows have done all their work and all of the black dots have done their work. So there's an even digit on this. So 1, 2, there's a 3 in one of those two. Oh, and it's not there because of the 1, 3, 4. This is not the 3. This is the 3. This is a 5, a 6, or a 7, and it's not a 7. So this is a 5, 6 pair. Now, if this is a 5, this couldn't be a 4, so it'd be a 6. If this is a 6, it couldn't be a 5, it'd be a 7. So it's either 5, 6, or 6, 7. Interesting. Either way, there's a 6 on it. But I don't like marking it that way. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as well. There's no 6 there. Where is 3 in this row? I can't put him in any of those. I can't put it in those because there's a 3 in the box and it's not in those. So that's a 3. Which means that's a 3 because now I can't put 3 there and I've got a 3, 4 looking down there. So that is a 3. So this is 5, 6, or 7. If this is 5, this could have to be 4 or 6. But if this is 5, this couldn't be 4 and it couldn't be 6 because 5 would make that 6. This is not 5. This is 6 or 7. 5 is down here, which means this is not 5. Oh, and the 7 makes this 6, and this is 5. This is 1, 2, this is 4. There's no 6 here. 5, 7 pair makes this 6, which makes this 7. That's cool. This is 5 or 7 for the row. There's an odd digit, there's an even digit on there, and it's not 2, 4, 6. So this is from 7, 8, 9, and must contain an 8. 5 is in one of those two. This is cool. This is really, really cool. So what are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's no 7, 8, or 9 there. That's a 6. So this is a 7, 8, 9. But these are consecutive. So that can't be the 9. 6 would make that 7. 7 would make that 8. That consecutive dot is interesting. Maybe. Oh, wait a minute. This consecutive dot here, that's a 7. Because this 8 has to be consecutive with either 7 or 9. There's 9 in the box. That has been there for a very long time. That makes this 6, which makes this 7 to be consecutive, and this is an 8, 9 pair. This row has got 1, 2, 3, is just missing a 5, which works for the Sudoku on 5s. That's not a 5 anymore. These are 3, 6, and... No. This 7 makes this 6. So this is 5 or 7. And these are 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that 4 makes that the 3 and that the 4. So this is a 5 or a 7, giving me a 5, 7 pair in the box. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an 8, 9 pair. And 8 has to be in one of those because 8 is not up here. Because I can't put 8 there because of the consecutive dot, and I can't put 8 down here because it's not consecutive with 6 and it's not on an arrow. Now, it's not there because it's not consecutive with 1, 3, or 4. So 8 is in one of those two. And now 8 can't be in those and 8 can't be in those. So 8 is in one of those two, but we know that 8 means it's not there, and that is an 8. This is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9, and that 6 makes that 9, and that 6. Now, there was probably an easier way to see that, but I had fun doing it that way. That 9 jumps back, making that 8 and that 9. That 8 looks into the middle and says that's not 8, that's the 8. And this is a known pair, 6 and 7. This is cool. This is a 5, 7 pair in the column, though. So that has to be the 6, that has to be the 7. The 6 looks down, making that 2 and that 6. The 6 looks up, making that 2 and that 6. Right. So 5, 7. So what else is left? 1, 3, 4, and 9. So these are from 1, 3, 4, and 9. Well, I can't put 9 there because it's not consecutive with 1, 3, or 4. So that is the 9, which means this is the 5, this is the 7, this is the 5. The 5 looks down, making that 7, which makes this 5, this 7. There's no 6 here and hasn't been for ages, but this is now 5. Now, this is from 1, 3, 4, but these have to be consecutive, so I can't put 1 on them because 1 would need a 2, and I can't use a 2 because of the 2 there. This I had that earlier as well. So this is a 3, 4, this is a 1, this is a 4, this is a 3. The 3 looks down, taking 3 out of there. The 4 looks down, making that the 1, which makes that the 4, that the 3, that the 4. The 4 looks across, making that 3, that 4. This is beautiful, and it spins around like a hurricane. The 3 makes this 2, which makes this 3. This 7 looks up, taking 7 out of there. Now these rows, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 2 and 5. 5 is not consecutive with 3. 2 and 5. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 9. This 1 makes this the 9 and this the 1. The 9 looks down, making that the 8 and that the 9. The 8 and the 9 look up, making that the 7. So that has to be the 8. And that, in the eye of a hurricane, there is quiet for just a moment. A yellow sky, or in this case, a 3. That was really, really cool. Yeah, just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I am so, so lucky to have been blessed with these puzzles. And yeah, this is definitely one that was not held back as one of the harder puzzles, but very, very cool. And I hope you are enjoying all of these as much as I am. I'm really sad there's only 2 to go because wow. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series, and as always, good luck with your solving.